Hello YouTube viewers, Mr. Math here with Let's Play Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. And I'm all finished on Spiderweb Island, so I'm just going to use a pirate flare to go right back to the ship.
Pirate flare activated.
I still don't understand how that's supposed to work. But you know what I said once before, I should probably just keep in mind, this game is not meant to be realistic. So there's one last thing I gotta do in Scuttletown before moving on to the next place. Like I said earlier, I found that fossil, so I'm taking it to Uncle Mimic. Okay. Yeah. Are you sure about that? Well... Okay, what? Alright, Bolo is an idiot, to be sure, but that's just not fair. He wasn't even here. The Tinker Bat turned into a Cackle Bat and then got loose on its own. Oh hey look, we get another use out of the X-ray specs. Yeah, that's the Shantae series for you. Throwing in something weird like this. Well, that was interesting. You know what I think? He's wearing the X-ray specs, so he was able to see through all the sediment and crud to the actual mask underneath. And, you know, I think Bolo kind of deserved a moment of glory. He's been getting dumped on by the whole game, if you think about it. Okay, now we're ready to go to the Meat Grinder, aka Mudbog Island. I swear, this place is really nasty. Yeah, welcome to hell. Almost literally. Yeah, it's going to not be a nice walk, Shantae. And you know, now that I think about it, that could be the reason why this place is so bad. Because, hey, he's suddenly starting to muster his efforts against us. Oh, do go on, Risky Boots. Okay, so maybe that is the reason why they disappeared. I mentioned in an earlier video that that might be the reason, but we don't actually know. Risky here is suggesting that is the reason. Yeah. So apparently, the fight against the Pirate Master, if Risky is correct here, that is the reason why the genies are gone. So, if Risky's hypothesis is correct, then basically this is all her fault. And yeah, remember I mentioned this. She destroyed her own magic to stop Risky from using it. But Risky has another hypothesis on that as well. Yeah, the conservation of mass, basically. So they're throwing some, at least layperson's understanding of physics into this. Matter and energy can't be destroyed. It can be altered, but it never actually goes away. Yeah, so basically, Risky's theory is, at the end of the second game, when she stole Shantae's magic, she turned it into dark magic, and then Shantae, rather than destroying it, actually scattered it. It's still around, and now the Pirate Master is using Shantae's former magic, now transformed into dark magic, to revive himself.
Let's go!
That's what Risky thinks. So, welcome to Mudbog Island. It's ugly, and the monsters are really fierce. Oh, I was trying to avoid them. I like to have the fully upgraded hair whip at this time because you haven't even begun to see how bad it gets here. In spite of how brutal it is, I really, like Mudbog Island. See? Pirate Flare. Monsters who drop pirate flares. I really like Mudbog Island because all of the monsters here are callbacks from the Game Boy Color original. All of these mud monsters. And the area where they appeared in the Game Boy Color original is one of my favorite spots in the game. Because it's really original. It's creepy and it's original. And Mudbog Island is a very faithful reference to that area. With the monsters and the scenery and everything else. Also, those dead bugs in the ground. Yeah, it's a very faithful reference to that area of the Game Boy Color game. And I just like it. Even as brutal and frustrating as it can be. Now these mud monsters, by the way, you have the ones that jump around like this guy, and the one that pops up out of the ground, the motionless one that pops up out of the ground, like that first one that I beat. And you can tell where those guys are, because if you look at the ground where he appeared, you can just barely see the pile of sludge that he appears from. It's kind of blocked by that plant thing that's in front of it. See if I can find one that's out in the open. Not really. Cacklebat. And with the enclosed area here, he's really easy to take out. All you have to do is just get him caught in this narrow area, and yeah, he's Whoa, this guy jumped down on me. Oh, there's two of them. Yeah, you have to be careful about these guys because they kind of sort of respawn. Ow. Okay, one of the mobile monsters is right there. If you look carefully, you can see the mud pile that he hides in. That's how you know that one of these guys are coming up. Basically, you have to take this area slowly, and you want to take out the monsters as you encounter them. You don't want to leave them behind you. Especially the ones that... the movable mud monsters that jump around at you. Ah. And having the fully upgraded hair whip is so helpful. What the? I turned around. Ah. Didn't mean to do that. Anyway, having the fully upgraded hair whip is so helpful, as you have seen. And whoa. Yeah, this is not a nice looking guy, is he? A hexer. The Village of Lost Souls. Yeah, it's kind of an afterlife, but it's not really that simple. Yeah, so he's not going to let us enter. Except I've got the death mask. If you don't get the fossil and then have Bolo clean it up for you before coming here, you have to go all the way back through the meat grinder, go to Spiderweb Island, and yeah, it's best to get it before you come here. And the first time I played the game, the death mask kind of irritated me because I thought to myself, there's absolutely no clue that you have to go back to Spiderweb Island in order to get it. But in hindsight, I've changed my mind on that. I think it's perfectly fine because this is the kind of game where you're supposed to remember that you can use stuff. And the first time you go to Spiderweb Island, you pass by the treasure chest, and it's underneath a little hump of land that you can't get through at the time. But then, at Tanline Island, you find Risky's scimitar, and you find out that you can break blocks in the floor with it. And that should be a clue that once you have Risky's scimitar, you can go back to that treasure chest. You need to actually remember. So, the first time I played this game, that annoyed me, but now I forgive it. I think it's perfectly acceptable. Yeah, she has. And I suppose that's technically true? I suppose. I mean, she keeps hair whipping people. But it's kind of sort of in self-defense. Yeah, well, when you reduce it to its component parts like that, I guess you could say you sound awful, but she's still the good guy. Yeah, not happening. Now, this is not actually the Den of Evil, the dungeon, but it's easy to mistake it as such. kind of looks like we've gone to hell. Literally. Although, mythologically speaking, this place is more like Tartarus from the Greek myths than hell from Christianity. And those Nagas that I beat back in the first area, yeah, they're pretty tough. But their incarnation in the Game Boy original is the toughest in the series. They were really rough monsters in the Game Boy original. And then in the first sequel, Risky's Revenge, they were a lot easier. And now they've been toughened up a little bit again, but they're not nearly as bad as in the first game. And whoa, these guys. If you talk to someone in Scuttletown before you come here, I think it's a female character, but she mentions 3 game players who were so obsessed that one day they just kind of disappeared and no one's heard from them since. These guys were in the Game Boy original. The blue Teletubby, the green Mer monster, excuse me, and the red, I'm not sure what that guy is, robot, I suppose. They were contestants in a mini game in the Game Boy Color original, and you played against them in the mini game to win gems. And now they're here in Tartarus, in the Village of Lost Souls, whatever you want to call this place. And they're still game players. They're looking for their coins. The blue guy has a blue coin, the green lady has a green coin, and the red guy has a red coin. And look who's up here. Could that possibly be? She resembles someone. Yeah. Take off her glasses and turn her skin green, and yeah. I think she's supposed to be a Japanese schoolgirl, but that outfit makes her look like a waitress to me. Yeah. She looks very familiar, Shantae. Yeah. This is another use of the theme of losing your past. I've mentioned that a few times now, how that's a big issue for Shantae, and it's pretty obvious that this is Roddy Top's only removed from herself. This is basically what Roddy Tops has lost. And her other half has also lost everything. And it's a running theme through this game. But anyway, we have to find the coins for those 3 gamers. That's our first task. And Grim Reapers. I thought I was far enough away from him. You can take them out, but it's really not worth the trouble. Because even if you manage it, they might drop a heart, but then they just come right back. So yeah, I'm going, oh, look at that, a lava dragon. Yeah. They really make good use of those guys in this game. And there's an air current here, so... And this is interesting. There used to be a fire here. The music of this place is really good, but then you could say that of pretty much everywhere in this game. It has excellent music. So if we just drop down here, we return to this area, and now we go down here. And look at this. This is the dungeon. The Den of Evil, rather. Oh, well, thank you. The Oubliette of Suffering. For stinky ne'er-do-wells only. So that's part of the reason why they sent us off on this quest to get the coins, so that we could find various locations. And now we have to go down here. And look, it's archers. Only it's the more powerful variety who shoot 3 arrows. How did that hit me? Okay, you know what? Bubble shield. Can't hurt me. And they drop lobster tails. Okay, so this switch, I'll get to it in a bit. But first, oh man. Look how low my life is. Like I said, this place can be brutal. And she uses the Legend of Zelda potion drinking animation. Another Legend of Zelda reference that this game makes use of. Breaking pots for items. This switch sends up this platform. We'll see what that's for later. But breaking pots for items and having subtitles on the bosses, and now the way she drinks potions. So to get to this switch, use the scimitar. And that moves this cage over to the right so that you can reach it, and then gets you in here for this cackle bat. By the way, if you're doing a speed run, you really don't want to spend your time taking out the cackle bats. That means, of course, that you would end up with the not-so-good ending, but you know, if you're going to do it in less than 2 hours, the cackle bats just take up too much time. And it makes sense to have the ghosts here, so they get to reuse a monster that makes... Ah! That makes perfect sense. Uh-oh. That was close. More Grim Reapers and Archers. Ah! This place isn't as difficult as it seems, but it can be a bit rough. Oops. That was a gem. 5 gems, I believe. Okay, I'm going a bit long with the video, so I'll get this one last thing. The coin, the third coin is up here. So I'll get it, then go back to the save point and cut the video there. Yeah, so thanks for watching this far, and I'll see you next time on Let's Play Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. Later, viewers.